Do you know the reason why there's a cross-contamination in food business? Hmm. Cross-contamination in a food business is a result of food handlers, improper food handling techniques, improper cleaning and sanitizing, improper food storage, improper waste disposal, and lastly, we have pests. First, let's talk about food handlers.
It is very important to wash your hands properly to help stop bacteria from spreading.
To prevent contamination, food handlers should wash their hands frequently, wear gloves, and cover their hair properly. They must also avoid touching their face while handling food and ensure proper separation of raw and cooked food. For improper food handling techniques, for improper cleaning and sanitizing, and for improper food storage. Let's all watch this.
The surface of food is covered by millions of different microorganisms. Although most of these are harmless, some types can make us ill. Let's see how you can easily prevent foodborne illness in the home by catching up with different households. We've caught Emily unpacking the shopping for tonight's meal. Raw chicken is often contaminated with foodborne bacteria and must be packed separately from vegetables and other foods. No Campylobacter on my salad tonight, thank you very much. Now, let's talk about storage. Separate areas of the fridge should be used to store different foods. Raw chicken should always be placed on the bottom shelf of the fridge, away from vegetables to prevent cross-contamination. Eggs should always be stored in the fridge to prevent the growth of microbes. Before preparing and cooking food, it's essential to wash your hands. That's a nice amount of soap there, Maria. And yep, you guessed it, keep surfaces clean too. Cleaning hands and surfaces regularly helps reduce cross-contamination, keeping food safe. Good food safety also includes washing food. Washing fruit and vegetables helps remove any bacteria living on the surfaces. But don't wash the raw chicken, Thomas. It's easy to be distracted staring at your phone. You don't want to spread Campylobacter across the kitchen. After cleaning, the cooking can begin, and it looks like Lucas is busy in the kitchen. Using separate chopping boards and knives for raw meat and vegetables prevents cross-contamination. Something smells good in Katerina's household. Cooking food thoroughly kills bacteria like Campylobacter. Let's have a look here. No pink bits, clear juices, and optimum cooking temperature. Fork, please. It looks like Carmen has been cooking massive portions again. It's important to store leftovers properly in the fridge or freezer. The fridge should always be set to 4 degrees or less to stop microbes from growing. And there we have it. Wherever you live, whatever the recipe, whomever you're sharing it with, make each meal special and safe, and be a food safety champion.
Significant difference between cleaning, sanitizing, and disinfecting. For example, cleaning by itself is relatively ineffective at preventing the spread of germs. However, disinfectants and sanitizers tend to have issues with effectiveness when it comes to dust and soil, underscoring the importance of cleaning before sanitizing or disinfecting. Regular cleaning agents, liquids, powders, sprays, or granules remove dirt, dust, debris, and odors from surfaces. Although this is an important first step in improving the health of any environment, it is insufficient to prevent the spread of disease. Keep in mind, cleaners are used to improve appearances. They are not effective at killing bacteria or viruses. Remember, commercial cleaning chemicals should only be handled by trained professionals familiar with the proper application, as well as potential dangers and necessary precautions required for toxic chemical handling and disposal.
Improper waste disposal. Food contamination from improper waste disposal can occur due to the attraction of pests, cross-contamination with food areas, odors from decomposing waste, and neglect of hygiene, such allowing garbage containers to overflow. To prevent food contamination from improper waste disposal, ensure proper waste segregation, schedule regular waste removal, use cover bins, and clean waste areas frequently. For pests, pests can transmit harmful pathogens, leave droppings or body parts in food, feed stored items, build nests in storage areas, and thrive in unsanitary conditions. To prevent food contamination from pests, first, maintain cleanliness in food areas. Second, seal entry points or store food in airtight containers. Conduct regular inspections. Use pest control measures. Dispose of waste promptly. And educate staff on hygiene practices. Reminder: cross-contamination can also pose a risk to customers with food allergies. As a food business owner, manager, or employee, it is your responsibility to serve customers a safe meal, including customers with food allergies. To minimize the risk of cross-contamination occurring in your food business, always move around the business in accordance with the food safety plan. Cover and store raw food in shelves below cooked or ready-to-eat food in the refrigerator. Use separate equation or utensils to prepare raw and cooked foods and to different types of foods. Prepare allergen-free meals separately. Establish allergen management procedures as part of your food safety plan. Maintain high standards of personal hygiene. Wash hands frequently using the correct hand washing technique. Handle and dispose of food scraps and waste properly. Remember, protecting food is important. It is a legal requirement that a food business, when receiving, storing, processing, and displaying food, takes all practicable steps to protect food from the likelihood of contamination.
Common contaminants of food: juices from raw food, meat and seafood, unclean surfaces, equipment and utensils, dirt, grease, and unclean surfaces, bacteria and viruses from unwashed hands and poor hygiene. Next, pest and pest droppings, cleaning and other chemical, grease, metal, or the other fragments from damaged equipment and fixtures. Tips to protect food from contamination: store foods and packaging above the floor. Store raw food, especially meat, fish, and poultry, below and away from ready-to-eat food in a cool room or fridge. Store chemicals and equipment well away from food items, food packaging, and food handling areas. Maintain the premises, including all fixtures, fitting, and equipment, in a clean and undamaged condition. Regularly clean and sanitize food contact surfaces and utensils like chopping boards and knives. Use separate equipment and utensils for raw and ready-to-eat foods, or thoroughly wash and sanitize equipment and utensils between handling raw and ready-to-eat foods. Avoid unnecessary contact with food, like use utensils rather than bare hands. Thoroughly wash and dry hands before starting work, changing tasks, or returning from a break. Between servings, customers, and preparing food, and after handling raw foods and garbage or using toilet. Minimize the wearing of exposed jewelry and tie back the long hair. Cover cuts and wounds with inappropriate dressing. Do not handle food if feeling unwell or suffering from contagious illness. Store food in food-grade containers and covered.